Hello, how's it going? This is the first of hopefully a few things like this. It's a brand new thing that I'm doing. I've really wanted to do this for a little while because I think the creative process really fascinates me, and I've seen this kind of so with the new album coming, I've seen an opportunity to dive into what the creative process means for me, share things that have gone on for me through the years, and also hopefully give you a bit of encouragement in your own sort of creative practices, and or if you haven't developed one yet and you want to, just kind of a bit of a behind the scenes look into the kinds of things that happen for me and have happened for me. I find it really interesting to hear other people talk about their processes, and to see what goes on there, and to see behind the scenes into the mess, into the chaos, the thing, and also the things that seed, and the stepping stones towards what becomes eventually. And so often it's this sort of journey that takes us to a place we maybe aren't necessarily aiming for. We might be aiming for it in a broad sense. It might be like, I want to create write a song or something like that. But usually the kind of particularities of that end product are not predicted at the front end, and so the kind of going back and seeing how something evolves into what it becomes really fascinates me, and hopefully it will for you as well. And this is a really good example of that, because I think we often we see the tip of the iceberg, don't we? We see the thing at the end, and we often, like, I don't know how you feel, but if I like hear a fully formed song, or see something that has been written or produced, like designed or whatever, you kind of jump to that place of I could never do something like that. Like how does that come to be? And it's kind of overwhelming at times, because it just feels like, I've not got that in me. I don't think we are able to often conceptualize or imagine the kind of weird and wonderful things that have gone into leading to that point, leading to that tip of the iceberg. And so that's what I want to share with you. I want to share the mess. I want to share, for me, the process brings so much joy, like just moving through it. I really enjoy the process of creating stuff. It is kind of a draining or it's something that I'm like, I need to be in the right kind of mood for, the right energy for, because I know it's going to take work. It's going to take a lot of that energy, of that creativity. And so but it brings me lots of joy, and it's brought me a lot of joy going back into old archives of demos, of voice memos, and of photographs as well. I've really enjoyed the videos. It's like there's something really amazing about this era that we live in, where you take little snapshots, you document things. And so I've just, spent the last few hours just going through the archives of these videos and photos that kind of document the different stages of development for the song that I'm going to talk about in this video. I'm going to split this into two parts, because I think it kind of naturally lends itself to that. So there's going to be this part, which is the development, the writing and the development of the song itself, the core of the song, which is what I did on my own. And then in the next video, I'm going to share what happened in deciding that I was going to take this song and the 5 other songs that eventually became the songs we did as Early Bird. And what inspired me to actually make that decision and say, you know what, these are not like solo songs. We're going to do these together. And so that'll be the next video. But I want to kind of dive right back to the start of this one. So what we're going to do is trace the steps back, and hopefully, I would love this to be something that that kind of has that sense of like familiarity or resonance, so that you kind of feel, okay, like there are lots of parts to this. It's tiny steps, and that's what it is. It's like small steps that lead to like kind of a big difference. Like, I'm trying to work out, I think this started in October 2018 is when I first conceived the idea, the initial idea within this song, which is Late Again. And then it became what it became in August 2019. So it's about 9-10 months between conception and like it being what it became. And then probably another 6 months as we developed how to play that live as well. So I'll talk a little bit about that in the next video too. Unfortunately, I can't find any of the polished demos that I created. I recorded it to like conclude the writing process. So I had the 6 songs with like in a kind of polished demo state. But I don't know what I've done with them. But they're gone. I'm sure they're somewhere. They're on a hard drive somewhere. But I do have all the voice notes that documented the kind of the creation of it as we go, and I'm going to share those with you through this. And then I'm going to conclude this video by essentially recreating that polished demo because I remember it quite clearly. I listened to it a lot early on, and I'll share like links to the full versions of the videos that I'm kind of putting clips into this of. So yeah, they'll be in the kind of accompanying notes. I'll put links to those. So let's start at the beginning of this. I wrote Late Again at the end of 2018, as I said, the very first of what became 6 new songs, and which I kind of created in a very dense period of time, a bit like I've done recently. And this is really weird because it happened, I think it was around my birthday. So it was around sort of the middle of October, where Late Again first poked its head through as a song. And it was exactly the same week this last year that this new album like poked through as well. Don't know what it is. I'd only just realised as I was sort of working out the dates as I was preparing for this. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure why that is. Maybe like birthday is particularly a creative period. So who knows? But yeah, on the occasion of, it was the 13th of October 2018 was when this was born. And it was part of some really deep creative processing I was doing a month after moving out of my marital home and in with my parents. 4 months after discovering revelations of what had been a rather long period of and a complex web of infidelity that had been masterfully hidden from me for well over a year. So it was like this really messy situation. I was like, suffering from what you would naturally suffer in those situations. It was, I won't go into it, but that autumn was a busy one for me of unpacking and unpicking and trying to process the weird feeling as well of time travel. And I think this song like really captures that as well, like kind of retroactively piecing a puzzle together and allowing the story you thought was true of your life over a period of time to be changed into the story of the life that was actually being lived that you weren't aware of. And so like, if you imagine life as a film, it's like one of those where you get to the end of the film and there's some detail that's revealed, there's some information that essentially changes how you read everything. If you go back and watch the film again, it's like it's under this or through this lens of what you know to be true at the end. And it kind of, and it maybe even changes the whole genre of the film itself. And so it just, it's a really weird thing. And so I was processing at the piano a lot. I used the piano. I often, music is where I go to process emotion and process situations, process events, of all sorts, like whether it's stuff going on in the world, stuff going on in my own life. And every so often when I'm in one of those periods of like emotional, raw emotional rage playing, and just singing and just like letting stuff out, whatever happens. Something I can only do when I'm on my own in a house. And every so often something just pops up and says, right, just record me, make a note of me. And that's what happened here. So I recorded like this part that I'm going to share just now. This was literally just after it had emerged through my fingers onto the piano, and I'd had this kind of little chord sequence going on, and then this idea, this verse idea, or just a piece of melody, a piece of song, whatever that might become.
Boy, you're good, where could you have learned that? You've got this movement down to a fine art. It would say more about me than you if when you asked I stood and refused.
So, as you can hear, it's rough, but it's there. Like the basic thing is there. The singing has a definite style and tone to it as well. It's coming from a particular place. I can hear that. It's a place where things often start for me in that, when I'm writing from that place of the kind of rawness, the emotion. So I caught that verse idea and then went back to noodling. Like I got it on the voice memo, and it's like, okay, right. I don't have to worry about remembering that. I've got it. Again, amazing thing about technology. And so then I was kind of noodling around that, and the chorus idea began to just make itself known as well. Still uncertain, but finding its feet. You can hear what it is trying to become.
Where did you go this time? Where have you gone? When you were laid home last night, what really went on? You're the monster of surveillance.
Not sure what a manster is, but again, yeah. We won't judge him. It's really interesting. So I love taking it up the octave. Not like that. For me, oh dear.
When you laid home last night, what really went on?
Yeah, there's something like when I'm like performing songs, I love that sort of switch when you can go from one octave to the next one, like the energy and the passion that kind of comes with that. I really, really enjoy. And so we have a verse and a chorus there. What happens next in the development is a shift of key. And I don't remember exactly why I did this, but I think it's that it was probably that moment where I was like, where I tried going up the octave and it was like, no, I'm not hitting that. So, and I knew that the chorus, because it went down. So I was playing it in, I think it was like in F sharp minor. So and then major. So, and the chorus had to go down because I can't.
Where did you go?
It's not sustainable. That's not sustainable. Sorry about that. So I had to go down to,
where did you go this time? Where have you gone?
And for me, there's not energy in that. Like when you then move to the next, when you're trying to like progress the song later. So obviously changed the key then to D. So the verse could then the chorus could then be like,
where did you go this time? Where have you gone?
Which is more my range. So it's interesting, even that from that perspective, to see the development that goes on. And then, and there was I know there's something about the falsetto. So the where did you go this time? Where have you gone? There's like a fragility. When you laid home last night, what really went on? That contrasts with the verse, which is certainly in those demos was very forthright. It was very, and it was like this nice. I think I needed in my own kind of like that creative processing to hear that fragility, to feel that fragility as I was recording it, as I was writing it, and to hear that wavering thing, and to hold that in contrast to that stronger feel of the kind of boldness that is like, no, I'm okay feeling of the verse. It's like, yeah, there's something I quite enjoyed creating, that sort of contradictory sense, that sort of holding the whole through that. And so, yeah, it's like that, the verse stepping into a place of power of the chorus, allowing my fragile, my vulnerable voice to ask the questions, actually, as well. It's a question that will never be answered, a question that, like, yeah, wasn't answered and it will never be answered. And then the next stage was adding the post-chorus section. So it later become the drop when we do it as early bird, this great like drop. And just to give some context here too, this is so this development, these demos are happening over the course of 2 days. So this is not necessarily the normal way that I bring songs into existence, but it's not unusual. It starts with one idea, and then sometimes I'll just get an idea, record it, and then move on to something else, rather than kind of circling around that idea and seeing what happens with it. But then on this occasion, it was like over those two days, building one thing on top of each other, on top of the last. And I knew that this was missing, you had the verse, you had the chorus. It was missing something else. It was missing there needed to be, like, it needed to go somewhere. So I kind of stumbled upon this post, the post-chorus section with the shift of tone. Where does it go? And chords. So this is when I first developed this. This is what that sounded like. And so this, and I'm talking about this as if it was like really, really conscious and intentional, but it wasn't. It was, but you can sort of see the structure of the song emerging. So this is like it brings the focus inwards for me, and I think that's what it needed to do. So it was like this mix of falsetto again and kind of full range chest singing, and it's this kind of self-reflection from the first person perspective. I'm in power and I'm in pain, or I'm in pain and I have a little bit of power. And it's this contradiction between those two things. And I like this idea of it developing in that kind of way, a song that has this, it doesn't take just this stance of like, I've been hurt, but I'm recovering and I'm stronger. I wanted to kind of catch that confusing messiness of heartbreak, the nuance, especially this kind of heartbreak, where it's so messy and confusing and shocking and rupturing, but also freeing in some way. And, you know, it's kind of not this simplistic emotional position, but there's all sorts of stuff going on, and there was all sorts of stuff going on. And with all this said, you know, I want to talk about something that then happens in my writing process, especially when I'm doing creative processing, like when that is part of the writing process. There has to be I say there has to be, there always is, there will be a moment, a transfer of energy, a flow from that raw emotion that creates the song, the raw emotion that sort of kind of it brings that song through the surface, or bring the ideas through the surface, and that transfer, that flow, takes it away from me and into the song itself. So the song is infused with the feeling that created it, and I am released from that. I'm kind of free from it in my own engagement with the song. So while I'm creating, I am channeling. I'm channeling the emotion into it. Like that is the song is like what I'm pouring everything into. But then once the song is written, once the song has been formed by that, my channeling can stop, and I'm kind of released from that. And it's really difficult to kind of describe this. It's very much a right brain process, I would say. But essentially it allows me to sing a song with a deeper connection to the whole experience, and without, you know, needing to go to that place that created it. That's kind of like, I'm free from that. Once it's happened, I'm kind of transcending any sense of meaning that birthed it in the first place. And I guess that's why I don't often feel compelled. I don't really enjoy talking about my songs about about being about stuff. Does that sentence make any sense? You know, you talk about a song being about something. Like, I don't like to. That doesn't feel appropriate for my songs. You know, I can talk about where they came from, like what kind of gave birth to them. But once they've come, they become something of themselves. They become something different. And when they're shared, that meaning becomes personal to whoever listens to it and connects with it. Like that, like what the song is about is it's about different things for different people. Like there's, you know, going to be things that just conjure stuff for individuals. And I find if I say this song is about something very specific, that kind of, I don't know, detracts from a person's ability to bring their own sense of meaning to it. Even, you know, I think it just distracts, maybe not detract, but just, it's like, this means this to me, but I know that it's not about that. And actually, yeah, it's about that. It's about that. It means whatever. It's about whatever it means to you. And that isn't a cop-out. Like I've, come to a place where it's like, no, I appreciate that position. That means something more than, it's not just like, it's whatever. It means whatever you want it to mean. It's like, no, that actually is a thing. So I hope that makes sense. You might be able to hear that difference already by the end of the second day. There's this kind of shift of tone from that very I don't know, there's almost an aggression to the original thing, and there's a shift in tone to the singing style. So this is this kind of emotional, this energy transfer. I can hear it's happening already. Like my positioning in relation to the song, my relationship to the song is changing.
You got this creeping about down to a fine art. I fear it would say more about me than you.
Can you hear that? There's a softness, there's a softer tone to my voice. Interestingly, that actually acts as a bridge back to, there's more of a kind of energized sort of power approach to the voice that I use, like when we did it as a band later on. But the shift of tone, I think, was necessary almost as a as the as a way to reposition myself in relation to the song, so that then I could intentionally choose how I was going to, the tone I was going to bring to it later on. So yes, we have the song fully written there, and so I let it rest after that, quite a full-on few days. And I was doing this alongside the other 5 songs as well. But I let them all sort of rest and marinate a little bit, and then a few weeks later recorded those demo versions that, as I say, I've lost. They kind of became the final polished demos that I was really happy with. I was like, these are songs. They've become songs rather than just ideas. And I'm going to perform the demo, so to speak. And I remember it very well, as I said earlier, because I listened to it a lot on an unexpected trip that I was really, really fortunate to be invited on to Australia over Christmas that year, so 2018 into 2019. And that's the next part of the story. So I will, that's what we'll kind of start the next video talking about, and I will explain sort of what went into that decision process of, okay, are these solo songs, or do I need to do something more with them, something different with them to, what I've done so far.
You're good, where could you have learned that? You got this creeping about down to a fine art. Red eyes hide behind an unripe sunrise. Winds of change propel the birds through blue skies. This time, where have you gone? When you laid home last night, what really went on? Is the monster of surveillance? My shadow fell into a hole of non-existence. Wish that I could fly like the crow does. I tap the glass when it cracks, I fade into dust. Where did you go this time? Where have you gone? When you were laid home last night, what really went on? This time, where have you gone? When you were laid home last night. best friend.